Welcome to Word on the Block. This is episode 4, 5. Who's keeping count? We just going forward. Um, I'm gonna doing this thing called a Terminator update, and people be thinking I'm playing when I talk about like how we're closer to a Terminator dystopian future than like anything else other than climate change. But or I guess other than like a climate collapse, climate apocalypse, something like that. Yeah, like we're super close to that shit. But outside of that, the Terminator, like I'm like, yo, especially like the biggest one was when it was like a Chinese AI robot like attacked a woman, and like in my mind, I'm like, yo, first off, who taught it? Like, who programmed it to attack? Who programmed it to acquire a target? Who programmed it to approach a target? Like, it's like all these things that went into that you think about is like, how did it get from point? How did it get from A to B? There was a program that took it like step to each thing. And we laugh it off. I think most people, aren't taking it serious, but it's like, bro, it's not even about the what actually happened. It's the fact that it fucking happened. And I don't think people are like thinking about it that way because it's like it's not a big issue just because like the robot was so limited in like its functionality. But like if it would have maybe it was like one of a better robot that somebody else has made. Then what would happen? Like, what if, like, I seen a, I seen a video of a robot that knows like martial arts. I'm like, why do robots need to know martial arts? Like, like what practical service does that do to humanity that a robot knows martial arts? Like, who, explain that? What's the business case for that? Like that took millions of dollars to develop. What's the return on the investment? It's like everything with AI and robotics, it's getting to a point. It's just like there's just no logic behind any of it. It's like it's not for monetary gain. It's not for the advancement of humanity. It's just, well, shit. Let's just see what we can do. And it's like, bro, why do robots need to do this? And then like the worst part about it is that ever since I started like looking into like AI and machine learning and all that, like this was back in like 2011, 2012. And back then, like they were saying every model that like all the models that they do, like they get the same result that the that like the programs, whenever they're left unattended, they're left like to their own devices, they get like more aggressive, they become more violent, and they start, attacking like other programs. And that hasn't changed since. Like that's still the norm to this day. And so I'm just like, there's been people who are in artificial intelligence who have spoken out against it, who have spoken out about the dangers and the issues. And it's like no one's giving a shit. Like, and it's just truly amazing to me that like we had climate change that nobody gave a shit about, and now it's it's gonna be 30 degrees tomorrow in April in Texas. Like, make that make sense. But no, nobody climate. We argue about climate change. It's like, bro, like, what are we doing? It's like arguing about gravity. Like, to me, that's how much sense it makes to argue about climate change. It's like we're arguing about gravity. Like, I don't know. And now, we're doing the same thing with robots and artificial intelligence. Like, we're just building our own destruction. But hey, here we are. I think it goes to the next topic of we're just all getting dumber collectively. I I guess like I gotta throw myself in there. Like shit, I be spending too much time on my cell phone, on my smartphone, flipping through apps, letting the brain rot, run amok. And so I can't exclude myself from that. But like the more we hear about like the future generations, it's people graduating from school that can't read now. Like, and it's just like, what are we doing, man? Like as a society, like, and I get it. Like, I understand that the lower intelligence of your society that you want to rule, the easier they are to rule. Like I always talk about like the flaws of the Constitution. The ultimate flaw of the Constitution is that it was written under like very normative in a normative environment. So like all the founding fathers, despite many of them being slave owners and impregnating young girls, they believed in like people in government should have like a moral like duty, to do what's best for the people. And the Constitution is written with that. And so like there aren't protections, or I guess like there aren't like, yeah, I guess like protections for lack of a better word, to ensure that that's the case. It operates under the assumption that you're going to do what's best for the people. And that might have worked, that might have worked 200 years ago, 250 years ago. But now is like all those, like unwritten rules that they left or they didn't fill in, like those are turning into loopholes for corporations, for private actors, for the richest man in the world to come in and to violate the original, I guess like the original spirit of the Constitution of a government doing what's best for the people. That and I'm not a person that thinks the Constitution is perfect. I'm gonna believe that it's an outdated document. Like I said, all the openings that they left in it have been filled with loopholes, and it's because like just society and the world has advanced beyond the limits and beyond the bounds of the Constitution. And so, I think that we're due for an update for one. And then like going back with with like, the dumbing of society, like they used to, like one of their main concerns was how do we have a democracy with illiterate, with illiterate voters, with an illiterate electorate. And it's kind of like we're heading back to that. Like that was a problem they had, in 1770s, 1780s. And it's like we're slowly circling back to that. Except for now, the question isn't how do we have a government that is ruled by an illiterate electorate? Now it's just how do they control an illiterate electorate? And they figure that shit out with cell phones, all your apps. Um, like it's crazy. It's just putting a price tag on so much shit that you just can't, you just almost can't function, um, at any real level because your mind is just consumed with making money because everything costs money. So you don't have time to think about things that don't revolve around, bringing more money in. It just wanted to go over how, those are how our government and like the powers that be and our lack of education in this country all play together. But this kind of ties into the tariff. You know what? Let me go ahead. I'm gonna drop a disclaimer. So just because I'm talking remote finance topics now, it kind of goes in with the tariff. Like the president, his motive for the tariffs is to bring back manufacturing. But it's like, does that even make like? It's like, does that even make sense? Like when he said that on the campaign trail, like none of y'all that voted for the president, the current president, y'all didn't say like, hey, who wants to go work in these factories that they're supposedly bringing back? Y'all didn't think about that. Like y'all didn't think about like who's gonna buy the goods that we make, and how are we going to be able to get high paying jobs out of making bullshit? Like none of you Trump voters, none of you Trump supporters, Trump voters thought about that, and it's very evident. um, but hey, I don't know. Like racism is a hell of a drug. That's all I can say. Like racism been used for since the 1970s to keep society from really advancing. From expanding rights to people, but like there hasn't been just massive, rights given to the people of any caliber. We're still working 5-day work weeks. They've been talking about the 4-day work week since like the 1940s. I think it was like 19, yeah, right after World War II. Like since 1940s, they've been talking about a 4-day work week, but no advancement. Like we're no movement on that. No healthcare for society, no education reform. Colleges are still super expensive for no reason. It's just like where they've mastered us just going in circles. And it's like as long as we got newer TVs, we have newer aesthetic stuff. We got like more gadgets, gizmos, and all that. But it's like from a lifestyle standpoint, we're not better off. That nobody has parks anymore. Like it's hard to find a city with good parks. You can't go to at least in the Dallas Fort area, you can't go to your local high school and just run on the track. Can't do that shit anymore. Everything's restricted. Everything's got a paywall. That's just a sad state of affairs that we're in. And can't even say that if you would have voted for Kamala, things would have been different because I had plenty of issues with her, but she didn't have a harebrained economic policy of trying to bring back jobs to America that nobody wants. The craziest part about it, like we had a president that like he ran on retooling the American workforce, and y'all hated him for it. Like I started college under Bush, and I finished college under Obama. Like under Bush, man, college was so hard. Like financing college was so hard. My second year in college, it was people that just didn't go back because they're like, I can't afford, like tuition went up, FAFSA went down, like I ain't got the money to go. Like that was like a common thing. And then like Obama came into office and it was just like, oh shit, like Pell Grants was up. Like, it's like, yo, student loans was more accessible. Like all the FAFSA stuff was like stream like it was like, yo, let's get people trained. Like you can go to there were programs at your community colleges, all types of stuff. Y'all hated them for it. Called that man a Muslim, called that man this, that, and the other. And now look at you. You're getting bamboozled over the same dream of manufacturing jobs. I don't know. Like, I get somewhat the appeal because, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, so many people made their life, and they made a good life. They were able to send kids to college. They had, two cars, had a nice house. They had a good life, and a lot of it was from working at somebody's factory. So I get that, but it was like that was the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Like, I run into people who are my age who don't know that many people who worked in factories, and they're running around talking about, oh yeah, bringing manufacturing back to America, bro. You've been in the service economy your entire life. What are you talking about? Like, you became stupider because you're talking about bringing back manufacturing jobs that nobody wants, that there isn't capital to support, that won't work from a business standpoint, and you're talking. And what are you doing? So I don't know how I got on a rant about Trump and his voters, but there it is. Let me go to the next topic. Black Entertainment Launchpad. That was something I found interesting. Issa Rae, it might have not have been Issa Rae. I just seen something that was about how like networks will use like black shows to like gain popularity, and then like they'll drop them. And I was like, I can see that. Really, like a lot of media outlets do that. And I guess like you can even say like commercials do it. Like they'll have our you know black sounds in their music, or black slang in their commercial and whatever. Um, to sell products, but ain't no black people in the marketing department. There's no black executives. So kind of the same thing. But I guess a thought that I had is like, why can't we use like our stuff to prop up our our companies, our businesses, our institutions? Somebody had mentioned like some of the social media apps that are like black funded, or have like black founders, or are for black people. Like why can't we do that with things that we make? And it's an interesting topic because you can be in a room of black people, and you can say, hey, like, let's all delete the Twitter app. Let's all delete Twitter, delete the app, delete your profile, all that. There will be, in a room of 20 people, I'll give you four that do, four that say they'll do, um, another four that does it and like re-downloads it back, and then like then like the remaining, they'll be like, oh well, we don't really have any alternatives. Then like you say, well, you can use this app, that app, that app. Spill is one, fan base. There's another one. I think it's like Be Social. You can use those apps as alternative. Hell, even Blue Sky. But they're like, oh, but it doesn't have the same amount of users, the experience in the same. They start going into all these explanations as to why they won't use it. And at the end of the day, it's like when you're using a Web 2 platform, the users make, like, the value is in the users. And so like if you change platforms, guess where the value goes? It goes with you and to where you are going. Like the value isn't in the platform. We're stuck in this thinking that keeps us shackled. you know. we gotta realize our power as consumers, and move in solidarity, man. Like move for us. Like you got like, and then it's different. I could understand it more if someone's business was tied to Twitter, but there's just people like just talking shit, just running their mouth, like just like what is the real difference in your life that this app will make if you get off of it? So Mark Cuban uh, apparently like, and I thought this was the case. He was supposed to like retain control over the basketball operations for the Mavericks, which would have never brought Anthony Davis here and sending Luca to LA. And although I'm not like 100% against the trade, what really pissed me off, like when I really got out I really joined the lynch mob for Fire Nico when he traded away Quentin Grimes. That dude balls the fuck out. Like it was some game the Mavericks were playing before it was like a week before the trade. We were down. Quentin Grimes like dropped 20. It's in a quarter. Like it was like the second quarter. He dropped like quick 20. It was like high efficient. Like it was like a couple of dunks, three, jump, mid range. Like dropped a quick 20, got us back in the game. I was like, oh shit. I was like, damn. Like, okay, let's go. And like he could constantly do that. And then like we sent him to Philly. Like that was it for me. I was like, yo, man, like that dude is a championship player. Like this is how cold Quentin Grimes is. He went to Philly and like his first game, like it was like the first or second game after the trade, he drops 40. Like he starts dropping like 20, 30, 40, like boom, boom, boom. He was playing so good for the Philadelphia 76ers, causing them to win games. They benched his ass because they're trying to tank. Like, oh, you're doing too much. Like, they Quentin Grimes alone gave that franchise life, and they're like, yo, he doing too much. Bench him. We ain't trying to win. We tanking, and we sent that to him. So yeah, man. Like, even though like I understand the criticisms of Luca, you know what I'm saying, like him being fat and everything, and maybe this trade was the thing to wake him up, but it's like Quentin Grimes was the straw that broke the back, man. Like I was like, nah, I ain't getting over that one. What wasn't no excuse for that one. Like wasn't no logic behind that shit. Like I'm not hearing nothing. So I feel like like normally I wear like Mavericks hats. Um, I gotta find something else to wear because I honestly feel like within 5 years I ain't gonna have a Dallas Mavericks gonna be here. I ain't gonna have a basketball team to pull for. So like gotta find something new. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna get my pastor. He started making like just like some stuff with his initials on it. I'm gonna just buy one of his. I'm like, shit, I ain't gotta worry about you, destroying the franchise. So, you know. Oh no, let me finish what I was saying about Mark Cuban. So apparently, and like, I think that's a bit another reason why like I can't be a Mavs fan no more, just because of the ownership. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm not feeling them at all. Um, so yeah, I don't have a basketball team anymore. Basketball's not even interesting to me anymore. I'm like, people are like, oh, you watching the game? I'll be like, I don't watch basketball, bro. Like, it's just lame. It's a boring ass sport. Let me know when it's track season. I can get up for that. Um, I actually gotta listen to this song. It's a new song by Iron Lennox. What was it called? Soft Life, Glam Life. What's the name of the song? Soft Girl Era. There we go. Um, Like I think this just shows it looks like it's starting to be with her, but like it was really evident with K Michelle. Like they are cases of like what social media can do to a person. I don't even. I maybe shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't put it that way. It was just like how much influence some people let social media have on them. Because K Michelle, after her second album, like that is like a classic R&B album. Like it is. That second album was great, and I think if you ask anybody who was in the R&B and hip hop space, they like, yo, she's on her way up. Like that shit was amazing. But then her song started turning into like trending topics from like Twitter. You know what I'm saying? And it's like as a singer, as a performer, as an entertainer, you're like you're supposed to influence what the people do. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not supposed to influence the music you make. Like the music you make and the things you do are supposed to influence, the people that are following you, the people paying attention to you. But I think, social media, it reverses that. And then you get albums where they're just spewing things that they see off Twitter. And like, I think that's like the softcore era. Honestly, I think like a couple of songs, like it just seems like it's from Ari Lennox lately have been just like, you know, talking points from TikTok. Like, and not necessarily that it means that it's a bad song, but it's just like what the fuck are you writing about? You know what I'm saying? If you just pulling topics off of the internet, it's like I think she in a weird place just in general because I heard like she was having issues with Dreamville and about like they didn't do enough like social media marketing and all that. So I'm like, well, dang, like your goal to be, like the number one trending topic, like that's what, what I'm saying? That's what you want, like just the attention, even if it's not connected to increased dollars, you know. So I don't know all the detail. I'm just hypothesizing. But it's just but I feel like she's become like another case of an artist, of an entertainer being influenced by the things or the people that she's supposed to influence. And so, I think just something to watch out for. And I actually like her. I actually like Ari Lennox. Like her, I guess like her first album. I don't know if you can call it an album. Like her first like project. It's phenomenal. I think that was her best work, honestly. Um, but yeah, I I don't know. I just think that's a dangerous place to be in, and I just don't think it works out well, for a career when you're just regurgitating things as a singer. I guess we are. Consumer confidence that hit. I think that was like a 10-year low. Um, Consumers are not confident. Yeah, it's at a 12-year low. Oh, except for one caveat was the decline was also broad-based across income groups, with the only exception being households earning more than $125,000 a year. So I guess if you're making over 125, you feel like, everything is going good. We got a lower GDP forecast. Actually, since the time of this recording, this is the 5th, the 4th, April 5th. Um, like the forecast, like there's been some who are printing like negative forecasts now. Atlanta Fed, yeah, dang. The Atlanta Fed estimates like -2. almost -3, you know, GDP. Dang, that's bad. So yeah, man. Okay, -2.8. So not looking too good. The stock market has taken a nosedive. This has been the two of the worst days in history. I think it's number four. I think it's the Great Depression, 2008 financial crisis, and I think that's COVID. Maybe COVID. And no. I think it was Black Friday, like the crash in the '80s, and these last 2 days. So, um, stock market isn't looking good, and it's all all comes from the tariffs, and yeah, it's intentional. I think the president is saying just whatever he wants to say. It doesn't really have to be valid because apparently nobody can stop him. So it's like he doesn't care. Elon Musk, who wasn't elected by anybody, can just go through and rip up agencies. Just carte blanche. Like nobody nobody gave him any constitutional power to do that. But yeah, it's interesting times. Sadly, I think when the president released his meme coin and like added, I think he multiplied his net worth by like 3 times by rug pulling this meme coin. To me, that signaled all I needed to know about what this presidency was going to be about. Like, there are people who are trying to rationalize his actions and his tariffs to say, oh, it's going to be a long-term benefit. And it's like, no, it's not going to happen. Like, over the long term, for one, tariffs will have to stay in place and probably go up to make goods made in America not only cheaper than imported goods, but also at a price to where it makes business sense to operate the capital to have manufacturing jobs in America. And I don't see either of those happening. I just don't. We're talking about manufacturing jobs, and meanwhile, manufacturers are automating, you know, things inside of factories. So it's like jobs for who? And I guess like that's another part is like if the new factories were built here, you don't think that they'd be mostly automated? You think that they'd open up in some some town in middle America and and there would just be a line of people to come work? No, like bro, it'd be automated. You're not getting a factory from the 1960s being rebuilt in 2025. Like you're getting a 2025 factory complete with automation, complete with robotics. The defense of the president's actions don't make any sense, but you know, I didn't vote for him, so I don't have to rationalize it. I think that it's people, they're doing a lot of mental gymnastics to try to make sense of what he's doing because they believed in him blindly. Like I've seen a video of like a hedge fund manager, or maybe a fund. I don't know if it's a hedge fund, but some type of fund manager, and apparently like he lost 150 million of asset of client assets, and he's making a video apologizing and all that. I'm like, he said it was like unforeseen. I'm like, bro, all that means is that you just blindly trusted the president. That's all it is. Like this was very foreseeable. This is very foreseeable. You just didn't believe the foresight. Take a quick peek, see if there's any good news on the horizon. I doubt it. Bro, VIX is at 45, volatility index. Um, Typically speaking, when VIX is, this high, it's just, to me, I feel like unless you're a professional trader, just stay out the markets. Like, you know, there's a good chance that on Monday we see a jump up, but then like we just increase the volatility, like it's going back and forth, up and down. That can be tough too to try to make some money doing that. And then I guess I don't know how much this matters, but the FDIC gave banks clearance to like do crypto transactions. So you know, I don't know how meaningful that is in the long run because it's like crypto agencies are already doing whatever they want to do right now. Haktua girl got charges dropped. It just seems like it's the era of like financial crimes right now. Um, so it's like I don't know what good is that clearance going to do? Because the rules aren't being followed anyway. I think that's one way to look at it. It's like the rules that matter to begin with. So what's crypto clearance going to do? Well, that's all I got. Gonna edit this video tomorrow. Hopefully post it tomorrow. Get better at posting, all that good stuff. So, I need a catchphrase. I need like a going away catchphrase. I need a like welcoming catchphrase. I guess I'll work on those before I go to sleep. I don't know. Gotta work some, try something. So that's all I got. This is Word on Block. I think episode 5. Keep your head on a swivel. Stay true to yourself. Peace.